What's good, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Michael, and today we're going to be teaching you how to do as many pull-ups as you want, okay? That just sounded like I was pitching you on a, YouTube ad, but really, you could do as many pull-ups as you want if you watch this video. But first, you need to be able to do your first pull-up, how to do your first pull-up. If you don't know how to do that already, you're going to have to refer to the video up here. It might be up here, I'm not really sure, I'm guessing at this point. But it's going to be somewhere up here, okay? Just to review what we said in that video. If you want to become good at pull-ups, you have to do more pull-ups. Okay, well, we didn't say that in that video. Actually, what we said in that video was you have to develop your strength that is mode specific. Meaning, if we want to become good at pull-ups, we have to develop our back and bicep strength. Furthermore, our strength has to increase relative to our own body weight. So if we're getting stronger, but we're putting on a lot of weight at the same time, we're probably still not going to be able to do pull-ups. So we need to get stronger relative to our own body weight, and we have to make sure that we're getting stronger in those muscle groups that contribute to the movement. Now let's get into the relevant information. So like I spoiled before, if you want to become good at pull-ups, you have to do more pull-ups. It really is that simple. People like to overcomplicate it with all these other, terminology and schemes and whatever they say just so they can pitch you on it. I'm not only going to tell you how to do it, I'm going to tell you how to do it for free, right? There's no better way to do it than that. Now, to prelude this video or to give you like a sneak peek, I want you to think about the first time you tried to ride a bike. That's a common example. Or the first time you tried to throw a baseball or shoot a basketball or solve an organic chemistry problem. The first time you did it, you didn't know what you were doing, and it probably felt like it was impossible, like you would never be able to do it. But after the 50th time, it probably wasn't that bad. Now the key word there is that the 50th time, and that's an arbitrary number, but you have to stick with it if you want to become good at anything, lifting included, okay? Now I'm going to tell you that if you want to be able to do your second, third, fourth, fifth, maybe 10th pull-up, you're going to do the same exact things you did to do your first pull-up. Develop your strength and make sure that it's relative. It's increasing more relative to your own body weight is increasing, okay? Now, let's say that you're getting stronger, but you're not getting stronger as fast as you would like, okay? There's 3 different modes we can manipulate. The same exercises, right? We're not overcomplicating this. There's no need to overcomplicate this. The most effective way is to use those exercises I gave you in that previous video. Again, if you haven't watched it, refer to it. I'll put the first link in the description, okay? 3 modes we can manipulate though. We can manipulate the intensity, the frequency, and the volume. Intensity being adding a weighted vest or those chain belts where you can put the plates on. That would be intensity, adding more weight than your own body weight. Frequency, how many times per week you're training, specific to the pull-up. And volume is how many repetitions we're doing. Now, fortunately for you, there are multiple programs out there and apps dedicated just to doing pull-ups, how to become good at pull-ups. And they're all free. Not all of them, but a lot of them are free. You put in your max pull-up number, what your max is, and it'll tell you do this many sets, this many reps, this much rest. It takes all the thinking out of it, right? And right now I have a strength and conditioning coach at Ohio State. That's the way to do it, honestly. You don't have to think about it. You don't. So instead of doing, let's say you can do 4 pull-ups. Instead of doing 4 pull-ups for 1 set, and that's as many as you can do, and then you're done. Instead, you do 1. Take a 2-minute rest, do 1. 2-minute rest, do 1. 2-minute rest, do 2. 3-minute rest, do 2. 1-minute rest, do 1. 1-minute rest. Do as many as you can. I just made that up off the top of my head. Would that work? Yes. And the reason that's going to work is because you're doing more volume, more repetitions than you would if you just did it all in one set. Now, what's the best method? Is it adding more weight, manipulating your intensity, or is it, adding more repetitions, more volume into it? And honestly and genuinely, I don't know. If you're asking specific, what did I do to develop my pull-up strength? I just did more repetitions, right? So I went that frequency volume route. But now I do more of that intensity route where I add more weight. So any method is going to work. And Omar Isuf did a video a while back. If you don't know who he is, he's a fitness YouTuber as well, where he had 2 buddies. One did the intensity route and one did the frequency route. And they both developed great back aesthetic and developed their back strength tremendously. And they had a lot of results. So either method is going to work. And I don't think one is necessarily far superior than the other, as long as you do both of them appropriately, if that makes sense. So at the end of this video, which we're coming to the end of it, I'm going to give you 2 really good tips on how to improve your strength. But first I want to review what we went over so far. If you want to become good at pull-ups, you have to develop your pull-up strength. And you do that by doing more pull-ups. Is it boring? Possibly. I'll be honest, possibly. Is it effective? Absolutely. If you want to maximize your results and accelerate your progress as much as you can, you have to follow a program, because a program is going to have structure and it's going to be better than, let's just do some, random pull-ups 2 times a week, right? All right, let's get into the tips you've been waiting for. Are you ready? The first tip, and this is a really big one, there's a reason why I put this one first, is that the pull-up is a concentric and an eccentric movement. It has 2 phases to it, just like a lot of exercises do. Let me repeat that, okay? For those of you who don't know what concentric and eccentric means, I'll explain it. But in layman's terms, what it means is the pull-up is not done until your arms are fully extended. Okay? The pull-up is not done. Get a tattoo on your forehead. The pull-up is not done until your arms are fully extended. If you go to the military for testing, or you go anywhere where they're going to competitively count how many pull-ups you do, if you start a pull-up like this, or you transition between, you come up and you come back down like this and you pull back up, no rep. It's not a rep. And the reason for it is the hardest part of the motion is the beginning of that concentric phase. The concentric phase is where you're shortening and contracting the muscle at the same time, right? So when you start a pull-up and you start like this, that's absolutely no rep, okay? I'm just gonna tell you, you can count it as a rep, but it's not a rep. Start with your arm extended. You can tell because your tricep will be contracted. You pull up. You don't just let go. That would be ridiculous. Most people don't do that, thank God. The eccentric portion is what's going to cause a lot of these micro traumas in your muscle fibers. The eccentric portion is the most important phase, in my opinion, for a lot of these movements. So eccentric, so again, we're not just dropping. Eccentric, and we're fully extending. And the reason we do that is so that, got some armpit hair going, is so that when we pull back up, we can get the benefit of working on this hardest part of the motion. All right, think about like a rocket taking off the ground. The hardest part of getting a rocket into orbit is getting it off the ground. The hardest part of a squat, if you see people fail a squat, it's right out of the hole, the beginning of that concentric phase. Same thing with bench press. People generally will fail right off their chest, the beginning of that concentric phase. If you want to become the best or just really good at pull-ups, you need to work on your weak point training. Where are you weakest? Because you're only as strong as your weakest chain. You've probably heard that before, right? So you need to practice this part of the motion. And you might think that it doesn't matter that much. But if you're doing pull-ups consistently because you want to become good at them, think about how much you're robbing yourself of all those benefits you could be having. Doing it once, is it going to cost you a lot? No, it's not. But if you do it once, you're going to do it twice, which means you're going to do it tomorrow and a year from now, right? If you're going to be doing the exercise to begin with, you might as well be getting as much out of the exercise as you possibly can. Alrighty, tip number 2 is to develop your back strength. Duh, okay? You knew that. I knew that. So why do I even mention bringing this up? This isn't a tip. This is just seeing how long you can watch the video at this point. No. Tip number 2 is to develop your back strength, because I know a lot of people, probably more people I know do what I'm about to explain than what they should be doing, and that is they will devote half their training to their back and half their training to their arms. Okay? The back as a whole, the back is a lot larger than the biceps. That's obvious. But also, the back has a lot more muscle groups in it than the biceps, and the back is a lot stronger, or should be a lot stronger than the biceps. Okay? If we're talking about maxing out your potential, which nobody ever does, your back is up here, your biceps are down here, right? Because the back is larger and it has more muscle groups to it. So the differentiating factor between an individual who can do 5 pull-ups and the individual who can do 20 pull-ups more than likely is their back strength. So make your back a priority. Put more of your training towards your back and less of it towards your bicep. Is there engagement in the biceps when you do double overhand pull-ups? Of course. But your back should be contributing more to the movement because your back is actually stronger and can develop quicker than your biceps can. The differentiating factor, like I said, between someone who could do 5 pull-ups and someone who could do 20 pull-ups is their back strength. Now, the difference between someone who can do 30 pull-ups and someone who can do 35 pull-ups, you can argue is their bicep strength. But if you're watching this video right now, chances are you can't yet do 30 pull-ups. So work on your back strength. Back over bicep. Your time is limited. So you should be putting essentially your chips, if we're talking about gambling, your chips on your best bet. Why would you put it half and half if you know this is more likely to win and this is less likely to win? You're gonna lose money that way. You put more of it towards what's more likely to win in this analogy. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that is gonna conclude this video. If you did enjoy the video, please be sure to smash that thumbs up button. Also, subscribe down below for more information. Now, if you aren't getting notified when I upload, it's probably because you haven't hit that bell. You probably know that. A lot of people say that, blah, blah, blah. So, I apologize. I won't bring it up again. So, if you do have any comments or suggestions, please leave them down below. Whether you comment on every video or you've never commented before, please do. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Now, not all video suggestions I make on my channel just because I don't think it fits the mold or the direction of the channel that I want it to go, but I do read every comment and I try to reply to every comment. Again, I'm just lengthening out this video for no reason, so I will conclude it here. I sincerely, I'm just dragging on at this point. I appreciate you watching the video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.